you look towards kind of your Raze, your Killjoy and whatnot to kind of synergize its utility. They do have the Sova. This is just going to be really interesting.
Yeah, let's get on board players out of the free cam. Let's focus in on what we're seeing here. And already Toronto going to draw first blood, but a quick trade and a bit of a burst coming out from this as well. Sewer control going to be garnered. And it looks like a big response coming in from Oxygen. They're actually going to stack out on towards the site here. 3 players towards A, and they're still leaving Cypher to deal with the rest.
Let's see, I sent an extra man over here. FNATIC will reposition towards the sewers, and they're just trying to wait things out as well, seeing if Oxygen do decide to follow up on this. Magnum now going to send out some sound cues, but nobody actually close enough on C site to even hear that. Actually, Zistu not even inside the cam, so the Oxygen do decide to creep through, and this could be bad actually, because Bosun's more Mystic is holding this angle though.
Oh. Okay, yeah, they checked it, but it was not necessarily a lazy peek, but you could see FNATIC were very composed, expecting maybe that reaggress, and they've held well for this. This is a very composed side, but Turco could be the absolute undoing of this, but timing's everything. He hears Magnum, he waits, he doesn't expect a second, and now Glove's found one, and Glove can now just sit towards long because he's got the support there from the Sage. He needs the shot, he doesn't get it. Boaster denies, and now the 2v2 begins. Spike should be planted, nothing to stop it, but look at these annoying positions coming back in for Oxygen. Great work from Boaster to find Turco, makes this somewhat doable now. That was going to be so many problems in front of them, but Zister now, can't get it out, but great work from FNATIC. Keep in mind, that little bit of a flank coming in was so good from Turco. That timing on it, that could have been everything for them. So close.
I mean, you could even argue as well, the initial peak, right? It's like, whoa, why is Turco not following up on that? But actually, I mean, it works out perfectly. It's unfortunate here that Glove, I guess, doesn't have an opportunity to back away and play his life there. If they can keep that man advantage, that's huge for them in that retake, because they have 3 separate angles of attack. And FNATIC don't have long to fall back to. They have Turco and Sewers, and one coming from obviously the spawn / heaven. So it's unfortunate, but a very, very slow and cautious pistol round.
Oh, but I like a stack. Oxygen already. I like how these guys are playing. I love a stack on a pistol. They're not going to go for a mad force. It's a Sheriff, Ghost or 2 bits and pieces. 4-play stack. It's not gone so well. Cleared out nicely by FNATIC. But hey, do you think they were going to win that normally? No. So why not try and get some guns away, do some damage? I like the concept.
Yeah. Really here. I mean, you can get anything else done. Zistu just looking for consolation, but nobody really low enough FNATIC for him to even catch a headshot. I don't think it's going to be hard work for him now as the spike will get planted. An extra ult orb go on the board for FNATIC, and good progress already. Got to get a little bit of momentum going because they'll carry 4 Spectres across to the next round. We'll catch a sound cue, but no damage going on to Boaster now. It really depends on how late he wants to leave it. We'll actually find Magnum, so consolation nonetheless, but really, really nice. Again, I like the opportunity kind of really to take a stack on Sewers there, anticipating, you know, bring them into a choke point, try and make use of these lesser weapons, but again, FNATIC using the utility wisely, clear this out. Toronto, no chance versus that paint shell either. The follow-up from Dome is perfect. Nice round from FNATIC. Gives them a good opportunity here to try and convert this bonus.
Up I go.
Got to say, so far, FNATIC, very clean. This is great. This is a really good beginning for them. As much as I've liked what Oxygen have been doing, I've liked some of the positioning. FNATIC have controlled every element of this, and this was something that definitely made me a little nervous at the start, was can they actually keep control of this? We know that they've struggled before against, you know, Polish teams, but here we go. Toronto gonna get checked on. Great work from Mystic. Very methodical work from FNATIC. And they need to approach it like this, right? They have to approach the game in a very methodical way, because we know how the Turkish teams like to play in this. They look for opportunities. They will thread that needle. They will find that one pressure point and really push down. So you can't go light on this. You got to check every corner. Mitez. Oof, I thought he was going to double down on it, but no, dealt with well. And again, great trades for FNATIC. No threats truly found yet.
But again, just another single peak here, and potentially giving away a weapon you'd want to play distance in a round like this. The Cosmic Divide going to get invested by both, so that's going to isolate Turco. Fantastic swing.
Gorgeous.
Look at that, Magnum and Doma. And both kills Zistu once again. The last man standing for Oxygen.
Lovely, lovely, lovely stuff. I'd be interested by Oxygen's composition, at least on the attacking side. See how that works out. See if they feel like they're lacking a little bit of those flashes or any bit of kind of, I guess, engage towards sights. Zistu. However, need to try and play this back in as best he can. 2 on site, 1 towards hell. Nah, not gonna happen. FNATIC, very, very clean. This is... How do we kind of categorize this? This is very methodical, clean play. They've done great side takes. They've been great on clearing corners. This looks like business for FNATIC. I think this is the first time I've seen them playing this very crisp style.
Well, this is, again, the other thing. I want to see something in the early round for Oxygen to really shut this down, because, I mean, that's, again, 3 rounds in a row, pretty much cut and dry, run the same thing. And once again, like I said, it's just a single peak. There's no real contingency there for the swing onto sewers. No trade possible, no utility invested. The early round Astra utility is not really exciting me too much, I'll be honest, Lauren, because there's no follow-up on it.
Nope. All chill so far. Clean work. Double stack towards Garage might find something, but FNATIC so far working in well. You see position is now held. Doma, a little brave and does get punished for it. And here we go. The shot's going astray. The spike plant is denied for a second, but Dirk is feeling a little pressured here. It's reasonable, but good work between Mystic, Boaster, lovely utility usage, and now Turco and Glove trying to find an opportunity. None really found. Glove gets 1, making it a little bit costly, but let's see if he can maybe get a gun away. See what he can do with this. As the round, very unlikely. Oh gosh, the utility.
Nano Swarms, they run the clock down for FNATIC here, and what? Glove lands a fantastic wallbang onto Boaster. That was disgusting, Lauren. I mean, it doesn't amount to anything.
You good? Just caught you for a second there.
That was filthy.
Scanning ahead.
Come on.
Someone check him, PC. Nah, it's solid. I mean, it was pretty dirty. At this point, 4-0 though, FNATIC will say, yeah, no worries. Hit those, we'll take the rounds. That's easy. That's an easy choice. We don't have to worry about that. Now, coming into this, we do see Toronto on the op, so let's pay attention to that. That's a big switch up. It looks like a C-long peak as well. Flash comes in from Mystic. Swing on it, not gonna get it. Nice work from Toronto. This could be the big game changer here, right? We were talking about his capability on the op, and he is a very capable opper, and a lot of teams suddenly swing up on those rounds. That is a bold peek, Boaster. I know you're kind of double peeking on this, but what are you guys doing right now? How is he getting away? What? How did none of those land? They looked so spot on, but Zistow's still gonna find at least 2, but by now we're down to a 2v2, and I do not understand what just happened.
Yeah, I mean, even getting away with a bold res at the bottom of C-Long, that was kind of weird, to be honest. FNATIC have to reset, get the spike. Now they're going to slowly creep back over towards A. No sound cues, you can see. Already Glove and Turco positioned, anticipating they're going to follow up on this trade of kills back and forth. FNATIC still very cautious on their approach here. 30 seconds left, plenty of time to set up. Dome actually going to invest the showstopper here.
30 seconds left.
I think actually that, after they don't hear any follow-up, is going to be... okay, yeah, lockdown invested as well. Hunter's Fury going to try and counter this out. Doma, got to be careful not to catch attack here, and he actually does. Will fall. Turco finish that off, and the lockdown gets removed. Magnum now to 1v2.
Aggressive. Oh, the pre-fire. Oh, that got a little sketchy now, and he gets outdone. FNATIC trying to posture up aggressively in the post plant, and you can see the double down on the aggression, just kind of going, well, I've got to kind of run with it here. And it doesn't work out so well. Gonna go get the op. Don't worry. They're not crazy. Just getting the op back. Let's talk about kind of committing to aggression, right? Because this round, I think, highlights a lot of it. One, the kind of triple... No, it's not like a peak. They weren't even peeking. It was for the res, which is fine. But, like, look at this.
This is just...
This was after another cross as well. Like, they have players there for it, but it's so risky to do. Like, how many times have you seen a Wardell just demolish people down there? A Mixwell, you know...
I mean, let's put it this way. You only get away with that once. A player like Toronto doesn't miss those shots given the opportunity once again.
Yeah. I'm a little taken aback, but at 4-1, Oxygen do get themselves on board here, but the op is back in the hands of Toronto, and here's that aggression I was looking for, but it seems well considered, but not well enough. Mitez outdoes Boaster this time. Nice work with that utility to try and combine to give favor on the fight, and now FNATIC in response going to take over Garage.
Calling my bot. Here.
Back up behind this trap wire and expecting to pop here. Whether or not actually be able to get any utility to slow this down, because as soon as this trap wire falls, you know they're going to... Okay, actually not opting to explode on the back of that, and a little bit of a trade of damage back and forth now. Magnum, little birdie got stuck, able to flash him through actually into A-Link here. Now with Magnum tucked in, I guess actually anticipating this B hit from FNATIC. Try and follow up on this once again with the wall.
Oh, I love Magnum's positioning here, though. Oh, he gets caught up by Zisto. I love the idea, trying to be such a nuisance to the two players in Connector. But now with him gone, it allows Mitez some freedom to play towards B. And look what that's done. It opens up so many chances. Shut down Oxygen. Finally getting to breathe some fresh air here. 2 rounds now on the board back-to-back here, pretty much looking much more comfortable. Starting to maybe get a little bit of that solidarity, get a little bit of that kind of stability going for themselves. And they also keep that up in play.
You do, dude. And I think you're right as well to say it earlier on, which is that expect that round as soon as Toronto gets the operator on board. I mean, Oxygen can lean a little heavier on one side of the map, but, you know, Toronto now can just play rotate. Oxygen can keep in formation and basically just send him to a different site, different position every round now. The FNATIC have got to keep that at the back of their minds when they consider some of these executions.
Oh, no. No way.
Durka.
That is the value Dirk is bringing. Huge frag for him there, shutting down the aggression from Toronto earlier on. We're seeing that kind of combination already starting to begin between the two. A little bit of a competition. Mystic, though, going to spot one out towards the site. This should encourage a hit, if anything. He'll try and speed up on this Turco. Going to keep his head down as best he can. Glove is the sacrificial lamb. Turco has to bounce out. The site take is perfect.
Yeah, and actually, Oxygen's Cosmic Divide pretty much going to be completely negated. They're not going to have an opportunity to get in here. I mean, this dude should be able to move up and get a position whilst it's still running. But with that Sage Wall and things being slowed down so much, it, like I said, it pretty much gets cancelled out.
Now, one thing I will say, FNATIC's site take so far, this A piece, has been hard to answer. Now, it looked like they were trying to kind of post up Jet. Maybe a pretty correct read, considering they know this is not necessarily a fallback plan for FNATIC, but it's a strong site take, so why wouldn't you lean into it after losing 2 rounds, right? So, makes sense. Now, I don't mind that play towards short, but, you know, if Durka's going to be on one, just check in on that. You know, because he's going to be in the mind of other oppers, right? He knows what they're going to try and do, and if that op's still in play, great work from him just to keep check of it, but I do wonder if we see it 6.9 on Toronto, so I have to see what he does going forward. They've got money in the bank as well. Glove and Mitez perfectly fine. 6.6, 4.3. Op is back out, so reinvesting. As said, we highlighted this earlier, right? That he's more of that purist. He will lean towards it whenever available. It's definitely his go-to.
Let's see now.
And now let's see what the answer is again, because it looks like FNATIC, they found something that works. They ain't going to change it.
Look how heavily FNATIC are leaning in the early round as well. Not even considering kind of this default setup and map control elsewhere, and this is the first time actually eyes on the minimap. You can see Oxygen exploring. Pushed all the way down C long now, and that's going to give a lot of information, allow Toronto to make this rotation nice and early.
They're still paranoid because there were lurks before, right? Keep that in mind. This hasn't been completely free, but now these 2 players pushed up towards A. If they get information, if they hear the steps, if they see a bit more utility coming down, there we go. That's a little bit of info still being relayed, but how much do you want to work on that? Cypher flank right now that's coming in, you're seeing going down is everything. Deep clear towards, spawn as well. They want to be 100% sure before they fully commit towards this. You're going to see the likes of Toronto kind of lingering in the connector in case there's a lurk towards middle, and now the side take comes in. Now, the question is, do they stick and fight or do they back away? Well, it looks like they're sticking and fighting. It's a 1-for-1 trade out, 2 for 2, but now we're down to the 3v2. Make it just 1. Incredible work from FNATIC again on the site take. This down now, gonna try and work way through this. Boaster did take a bit of damage early. That's a big fight, not clean though, 6 HP. And Boaster tries to tuck away. Oh, that is so well done. Boaster just has to keep his cool. And he does more than that. Brilliant work from Boaster again. This is a game he should be very, very proud of the way he's approaching this, and a good scoreline as well. Oxygen read that due to the flank, but I mean, you're stuck in that 50-50, right? Do we commit? Do we take the fight here? Do we fall away? Play a retake? Super hard to play retake on this site, especially when we have maybe just one flank coming in, but Killjoy's utility is already there. There's no easy way to do this.
This is great. To be honest, more so from FNATIC, right? And the emphasis here, well, that comes down to a 4-for-3 trade on the site. That you don't see that very often between like European versus European teams. It's usually a 1-for-1. They get site access. It comes through to a 4v4 in the post plant, right? This here is like whichever site the hit comes on, it's a deathmatch, and it is literally back and forth on the site. There's pretty much no other action elsewhere. This is really interesting, and actually a big adjustment from FNATIC. It's not often you see them lean this heavily.
No, I do say though, if you find something and they don't have an answer for it, now their money's gonna be in the bin, so they can't still find an answer for it. You can make minor adjustments, right? In my mind, it's like, okay, we keep leaning this way, we keep doing the kind of, you know, the idea, right? You show off the idea of this, but then, okay, well, this time we'll leave Killjoy to like mid. Okay, well, this time we're gonna leave, you know, X and Y. We're gonna change up a little bit here. These small changes catch those kind of like wanting flanks now. You're gonna see that in middle right here. Killjoy should get some good work done. That's a gun barrel spotted, and obviously the turret's there. This should be free farm, but Magnum might actually get overwhelmed considering that play down middle's come in. That's an offer up there from Toronto saying, look, just trade me, I'll go for the dash. But there's the win on the site regardless. So they've got the information, they can have the side take. So FNATIC are playing a very good game. Now, I don't discredit Oxygen either. They're doing what they can, but what are you meant to do in this? They've got a gun back, right? So now they've got 3 rifles. That's big. That now makes this a little bit more of a sketchy round. It's calls upon Boaster to do well again. And he doesn't do it this time.
Mystic actually going to reposition off that as 3 members of Oxygen will go through. Toronto still actually as well. Mystic will find value on this flank. Durka will shut down meters as well. Actually, Turco,
that aim, dude.
fantastic shots.
Turco is so sick, like individually. Durka outdoes him though, and secured. Now that was kind of like a half buy with a couple of rifles in there. I like the aggression towards mid to try and pinch. Obviously, you know, if you're Magnum, you almost don't mind dying for that. You get the information, you get to kind of know what's coming their way. You can kind of relay it regardless. Obviously, you'd rather win, but you take that. At this point, again though, why would FNATIC change? Now the thing is, this is the round where FNATIC could go, screw it, let's do something weird, right? Because you know they're gonna Oxygen have to respond to this. They have to put players towards A or make a switch up, right? So FNATIC, it looks like, go, right, well, let's go for a little bit of switcheroo. But it does mean Toronto gets a shot again, but he has to do well here. Toronto, this is on you.
They do try and wall up in the early round. Seeker's going to get invested here, and already valuable information. Look how quick this utility's coming through from FNATIC here. Turco's still in the deadly spot, but the Seeker will reveal his position. Toronto has had to respect.
Look at this rotation. All 5 players from Oxygen are here because FNATIC have conditioned them constantly that these are all inside hits.
Yeah.
FNATIC are 100% in charge. Now, FNATIC can clear methodically and well, which they're doing. Look at Magnum again. This is great work from him. Deep clear through that kind of, you know, attacking side spawn, make sure that's fine. They can now kind of reaggress. They've made, again, Oxygen use a little bit of that utility. They've, you know, walls gone, little bits and pieces have been used. Now they can maybe reassert themselves here and try and catch someone on a rotation back towards the site potentially. Now, let's see if they get the good check on Turco. We already saw that aim coming online, Hypoc.
Actually, I mean, utility-wise, I've got to say that was more invested on the side of FNATIC. Durka still has the wall, 1 slow orb, but I want to say, really, with that hit not being followed up on, it kind of plays into Oxygen's advantage. They are going to get information off of that flash through B. Actually, Glove now going to invest a little bit. Toronto will find a kill elsewhere. Glove now got it all to do with Mitez, and the counter peek is perfect. Look at this. It's beautiful from Oxygen. Shutting down the B push. Brilliant stuff from Glove and Mitez.
Beautiful late round work between them. You're spot on with that. 7-3. It's given them a little bit of breathing room. I want to see them get the last round, though. Otherwise, I'd still say FNATIC have enough in the tank to be able to convert enough on the second half, right? I need them. If you want to see Oxygen do well here, next couple of rounds, and we need Toronto to come online. He's having a quiet game. 4-8. I want to see a bit more. The guy is a headliner.
I mean, I always come back and I say to FNATIC on Haven, their big win condition is having a strong attack in half. So far, so good. The round score playing pretty much perfectly into that. But again, just in the early round here, once again, the Astro utility, there's just no follow-up on it. And yes, you can say that it's invested well because they're finding a little bit of information off it at least, but they're backing away onto site. There's no kind of crunch onto that. And yes, we talked about the conditioning from FNATIC. They know everyone's there. Oxygen know all of FNATIC are there.
It's intention behind utility, right? It's you got to kind of do something with it at this point. Now I want to see what happens here. Once again, we do see the switch up of Boaster this time trying to catch that flank. They've taken short control, shown a lot of presence. They're not being subtle, right? There's no subtlety to this. A lot of spam, a lot of steps, a lot of everything. They're trying to draw players over and see if maybe Boaster can catch one. No one's going for it yet. Magnum actually investing the ult on this too. That's interesting. Now look at the response.
They're going to challenge it.
Wait, they're pushing this. Yeah, not a bad shout either. That's gone.
This is beautiful work from Oxygen, actually. Completely shuts down this push, but Boaster has actually been able to lurk his way all in. The spy cam's going to give away the information, though, and now he's stuck on an island. He needs his teammates there. He's going to try and run down the clock a little bit. But that utility, the rotation is coming through now. It's all on Toronto and Zisto.
Boaster, 2 out of nowhere, finds the main crunch of this. This should be safe. Glove, you're going to need something big off this one. Denying the plant is important. Rez comes in. Boaster's back. That's a 4v3 now. Favorable to FNATIC, but Oxygen do still have players up and a Rez available themselves. Don't forget it. Now, double stack towards backside. Well divided comes in. Maybe a worthwhile time, obviously, of course, then to bring up Boaster for that similar move. Now, Mittez needs to go through. They did invite. Look at this crossfire. Oh, wait, Mittez! He still gets one. He peeks with full intention. But the shutdown did come through, and Mittez left on just a slither of HP, and Dome is still alive. This is so tricky for Mittez. He's playing Ring of Ring Rosie's the gun barrel. He's going to see it. That's going to be one. He needs the other, and he needs it fast. Doma's going to back away. He knows that time is on his side. He is the additional man, and Mittez, beautiful shot. Did Doma just throw that?
My word. 22 HP, finds the remaining 2 kills. What a fantastic turnaround. Utility, the Cosmic Divide there to allow the res to come through, and they let the clock run down. That crossfire from FNATIC was brutal, and they still break through and find a 1-for-1 trade in that scenario, Laura. What a fantastic round from Oxygen.
And Mittez, that first peek he comes in with, unreal. He peeked with full idea, full intention that player was going to be there. And I'm so baffled that Doma was just kind of caught in no man's land. I thought he was going to play the time a little, do the dance, like try and, draw the time away, but no. Mittez doesn't allow it. So 7-4, we said they needed the buffer and they're doing just that. Oxygen starting to build up here. One more and we've got a game on our hands, folks. Like, this could be a Toronto on the switch up as well. Straight towards middle might be a good shout. This is like a garage burst or a mid burst coming out here. The timing's going to be everything.
Toronto's in the right spot for it. Decide to walk mid, but again, going to see a double stack from Oxygen at the top of C-Long. I think that wall's already been invested. I can't actually see it beyond the player. Yes, it has. Going to be able to buy a lot of space in the early round, which I'll be honest has been their biggest problem, as FNATIC stacking up and finding so much control on one side of the map early on, drawing out this rotation, drawing out the utility. Actually, they're doing that once again here. Trying to send out a couple of feelers, but with Zistu fully investing his setup onto a site, FNATIC once again creep towards A.
Very different hold, though, from Oxygen here. And I quite like that. I'd rather them, sometimes you got to say, well, we're losing the site fight. We're going to have to lean on the retakes that aren't pretty. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing easy about it, but it might be the better option. So Zistow's going to have to accept the fact that he's going to be on a bit of an island, do the best he can. Nice, great attempt. Keeps his life as well. Toronto.
What?
Unreal. What the hell is this? Zistow's found Durka. That's actually pretty big. Retaken with a 5v4, that ain't bad. Now, they only have the 2 avenues of approach, and Heaven is hard to play from, right? Jump out there. You're offering up maybe a trade. But again, it's going to be just that CT retake. Glove's going to find Mystic. There's that Heaven drop. It never works out quite so well. Boaster does find him. Finds another. Boaster, great work on the site. He's going back in for more. Magnum is not alone, but he's still doing enough work to make up the difference now in the 1v1. Great work when it just came down to Magnum at the very end. 3 kills. But between him and Boaster pulling that attention. Just a little towards the site. No, back towards sewers. Beautiful post plant again. 8-4.
Really, really well controlled. And actually, you can see Oxygen is stacking up. They have the man advantage, and they're trying to set up the utility. This is the first time, really, we've seen kind of Vitez make a, I guess, structured approach to this utility in the retake. FNATIC hold the line. It comes down to 30 HP on Magnum, but the trades played so well by FNATIC there. And 8-4 at the half, I got to say, that's a big win for FNATIC.
Yes, it's huge. They are definitely with the upper hand. And a bit of an upswing in performance for Boaster. Now, when I look at Boaster, I don't look at him to be the fragger. He's an adequate player. He's an IGL in my mind. He's, you know, very much the leader in that regard, utility expert. I give him that. But he's been putting up some numbers. Very, very important. Now, it looks like Mitta's just going to go for a straight contact up middle here. No utility yet. Spots out a shoulder on Doma. Now they're going to have to commit a little bit here. Just right towards the connectors. And away we go. Nothing too complicated about this. No crazy plays. A little bit of a late lurk through A.
Gonna plant this for A-Link. They're going to try and hold on to this choke point here. You can see Mystic's got to respect the presence here. Both are going to stack up with him. Toronto just misses that glance. Look at this side, the lurk coming through. Zistu, once he gets through
Look
to
at the way
A,
they've stacked this. They've got all the players on the connector side. Yeah, hold up. This is still pretty sketchy. Oxygen, though, this is such a weird post plant. They're all on this side.
What?
Doma's found 3 of them, and now the wall goes up. Zisto is just locked off from this. Nade toward him away. You can't escape it.
Beautiful.
If this is something that Oxygen do in a similar occasion, like the wall to where they were kind of sitting toward that A connector side, and FNATIC are just aware of it, that was read like a book. I mean, they were so prepared for that.
They were, and again, we're talking about Durka and on this Sage. Again, just perfect usage of the wall. We saw this a couple of times. Again, I think back to the Haven play with the Cosmic Divide and the Sage wall here, but another perfect example. Zistu has absolutely nothing to do there. I mean, he has to still commit to breaking it before it reinforces, and unfortunately can't get that done with the Ghost, and the nade will finish him off, but it's a big round here. It looks like Oxygen actually going to throw a couple of Sheriffs into this, but not purchasing armor. And really, this is FNATIC on the brink of double digits already with that pistol round win.
Straight walk mid. Doma does get traded on. Good work there from Turco, but back up, always in the right place. Boaster being a nuisance today. He's playing a good game. And again, we look to see what the victory would be. A nice spike plant would be great for them. A couple of kills cost them some weaponry, but Mystic's not allowing that. Just kind of playing a little solo towards A, but he can call for some support now. 2 remain. Beautiful work. And predicting the final, and now hearing, of course, that Sheriff going off. Very well played by FNATIC. No threats found. The trade on Doma, sure, but Boaster was still there as the safety net. This is clean work from the boys.
Indeed is. Oxygen buying back this one. Is Doma finding this value, even getting traded out here. Look at it, Boaster's there, ready with the gravity well to find a second. And at this point here, you don't get the weapon upgrade. It makes it so difficult to recover this round, especially losing 2 like that on the attack. Allows FNATIC to just drift back and forth as soon as they find some information. Able to close that one out relative ease. As FNATIC going to carry 3 Spectres across. Doma already on the showstopper now. That's a big thing here for the bonus round. Those Playmaker ultimates can quickly turn the tide. Urka getting a little bit frisky down on A-Long there, but Magnum and Doma. And actually, Doma's the first to fall. That's the showstopper off the table.
Bit of a loss to start with. Let's see how they respond with this now. They've got the player advantage to work with. They've got the first pick. Going to cause a couple of rotations to come out from FNATIC, make them kind of have to adjust accordingly. But look at the re-aggress towards middle. Oh, that's so nice. So all that sort of threat that could have been building towards B, wiped away. They now know exactly that that's not the case. Right, so where are they? Did they hear a step? Have they got any idea? Now, it looks like they're going to at least check this way. And if you're Oxygen, there is no way in hell you are considering this yet. Now, that's 2 players. That's worth the take here. But do they wait for not more? Oh, Magnum! Magnum! He's made a meal of it, but Dirk is there to pick up the pieces. And now there's problems for Oxygen. There are players on the flank, and now they've got to know what's going on. The rest of FNATIC, though, going to go through CT, wait behind those smokes. And now with the 3 remaining from Oxygen, they've got to find this plant. They need that little bit of safety. Flash through the smoke. Oh, it's so blind. It's so good.
So
Hypo, the flash through the smoke. I love it. I love it so much.
I mean, at that point, that literally looked like a hand off keyboard and mouse moment. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm dead. Like, there's nothing I can do there. That's so well timed. And Mystic actually, all the way from the point at which FNATIC reaggress mid, he's playing A-Link. Literally, that's been the plan the entire time. He sits back, he doesn't even challenge sewers or long. He sat all the way in A-Link waiting for this to happen. Yes, a little bit of a whiff, but it's a Spectre at range. I'll let Magnum off with the way he's been playing recently, but what a fantastic recovery from FNATIC.
Well, this is the thing. We were also asking the question here earlier in the first half. I said it. I was a little worried about this composition from Oxygen without any traditional flashes, or really any flashes. I mean,
or follow-up on the Astra.
Exactly, like their engage is lacking. It's very tricky to make this work. If Toronto's not having like a mad game on Jet, kind of being that, well, I'll offer up the trade, right? Be a Yampy, be just straight in there for it. Even then, it's like, beyond that, how do you play this? This is a very weird composition change, so this could be, this has been something we were talking about being a problem, and I mean, that pop flash through smoke just made me super happy anyway, but at this point at 11-4, this isn't looking so hot, I've got to say, and again, this is probably the harder side for this composition at least. And yeah, that start for Durka, just padding out the stats now.
Yep. Playing distance perfectly on this one. We'll find the second. Doma counter peaks will find Glove. Oxygen down to 2 now, but find a constellation nonetheless, and Durka quickly closes this one out with his third. FNATIC on map point now. Oxygen will be able to buy back into this, but I mean, really, it's the Blade Storm. Not even had an opportunity to get the operator rolling, which, again, another talking point is players like Toronto always leaning heavily on that operator on attack.
Yep.
And being able to find value with it to open up a site. It just hasn't been possible for them here. We're going to have a Vandal coming into the last one.
And I mean, FNATIC can get super fruity. I mean, I don't know if they want to, but they could take so many peeks because there's no flashing off angles, right? So let's say this long fight. What's going to take them off this angle? Nothing. So for now, they can just sit there, hold so many more postured up aggressive angles. We're looking at Garage here as well, because there's 2 players, I think Jet and Sova are going to start maybe clearing through. I guess maybe a little bit of the Sova could clear. You can see the use there of, I don't know, even Glove now, it's all been negated. That little bit of a slowdown, that little bit of counter utility instantly hinders any sort of springboard. And look at FNATIC, they are getting fruity with it, and why not? Get a little aggressive, but ring of roses.
Actually wrapped each other.
Oxygen, yeah, they're on the site. So look where the spike is, Hypoc. That's not good. Suddenly, there's problems now. Durka has seen everything, and now what does he want to do with this? Take your time. Mystic gets a little bit of baited in on there. Doesn't quite find the shot. Turco punishes, but Durka ready to pick up the pieces. Can't quite find Toronto and his game back on. They've maintained site positioning, and that's going to catch up Doma. Good work from Oxygen, but by now, it's still a 3v2.
There's both Boaster and Magnum come around through a lobby. The plant isn't for long, so expect Oxygen to play on site, maybe even a little aggressive forward towards spawn. Actually, now going to drift back towards sewers. Mite's going to find the first nice headshot onto Magnum. Boaster, last man standing here for FNATIC in a 1v3, and just at the wrong moment, tries to throw down a star into hell. Maybe going to try and use of a gravity well there.
Okay, got to 5. And again, finding the spike here was brutal. I mean, you don't often bank on the fact you can just simply walk A. So, you know, I don't blame them for it. I'm glad that they were trying things out. But at 12-5 now, it's just, you're going to need some mad performance upswing. I'm a little surprised we haven't seen Toronto having a bigger performance. This has definitely been a struggle of a game for him. Pretty tough, I'd say. But you've had a couple of others pick up a little bit of the pace. And again, look at this aggression. Straight down long. 3 players. They're crunching towards A. They're getting all that information, all that depth, working off the back of the flashes. Magnum's feeling a little frisky with it, and he's got Durka by his side, so why not? Toronto's gone. Like, how are you meant to deal with this aggression? They're playing default, sure, but they're still being overwhelmed. They're simply being pushed even further back. This is FNATIC striding through this game. This is a very dominant performance.
Well, this is the exact concern I had, right? Which is why I want FNATIC to have such a strong attacking half, was because they can be this proactive. This dude will find Dirk, and that will leave Magnum as the last man to defend C site. We'll go 1 for 1. Dirk will shut that out, but maintain a man advantage at least. FNATIC have to see what they're considering here. I mean, they have the Showstopper and the Seekers here. This is still doable, even in a 3v4.
Gotta go for it. Gotta be feeling like you want to, but FNATIC opting to be a little more reserved, saying, you know what, we'll keep the money, we'll keep
sensible and boring.
I know, just get in there, go on, have a crack. But I mean, it makes sense. But still, 12-5, soon to be 12-6.
But I mean, there's a point that we're going to reach. FNATIC have played so well throughout this.
Yep.
Now we're on the brink of Magnum 1 away from the lockdown. Boast is now 2 away from the Cosmic Divide. It's that kind of snowball effect, right? Previous round, Turco has to invest his res. Toronto still sitting on that Blade Storm, but well, Gloves 1 away from his Hunter's Fury, so some ultimates coming online, but really, like I said, in terms of snowballing, FNATIC can ride this out now. They just need one more round. So, you know, whether it be financially or, well, speaking of finances, Dome, we're actually going to throw the Operator into this one. So expect him to maybe play a little funky in the early round here, whereas he's over on C default right now.
Scanning ahead.
Ooh. Toronto actually pre-aimed that angle as well.
Okay. And now the pace change coming in a little here from FNATIC, a little less aggressive still with the lane though. I mean, you still got Sage kind of posted up towards Sewer, you got that flash towards Long, allowing a little bit more freedom on that up to try and, you know, be a little riskier. Boaster, I mean, you don't often say, yes, Boaster, the infamous UK opper. You know, quite the up-and-coming rattlesnake, what can you say?
Not even
but
once.
We'll see how it looks. Not even once. But look, maybe it's time. Maybe it's finally time to see.
I think you used the word fruity earlier on, which
it's a fruity choice.
It, yeah.
Yeah. A little bit of an interesting read. They've gone for the stack towards A, but it is going to be an explosion towards Garage. So Magnum now gone. Oxygen. Take side control. Exactly and once again, will you risk going for it now you've got an op? I don't think so.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, really expect them to try and swap out to the Vandal in this retake, if anything. They can retake Garage control here. Seekers invested makes me feel as if they are going to fully commit to this. Now going to come through. They're going to put the res on as well. Magnum has the lockdown.
Here we go. 10 seconds. They better get the hell out of Dodge now.
They got the Showstopper for backside.
Look at what they've got terrible. Exactly. This could be huge. Here it comes. There it goes.
He missed
nowhere. He absolutely missed it. We didn't see much of it, but now it's down to Toronto in a 1v2, and he's detained.
No
he's just going to have to sit back and watch as this all comes down in front of him. Absolute heartbreak for Toronto. All comes out. Up and over, but... Oh, my God.
No way! Toronto pops the Blade Storm. Hops up, denies the defuse. Oh my word. The timing on him being detained there. FNATIC stick it just half a second earlier. He can't do this. Look at how close it was.
Oh.
Imagine calling GG. Imagine.
Imagine.
Couldn't be me.
Need that back.
Okay. 12-7, game back on here. FNATIC getting a little sketched out, I'm sure. Money in the, not necessarily the bin. They've got rounds to play with, but now aggression to make up for it. Mystic gonna keep pushing, pressuring the issue. Glove kind of back to the wall here. And you can see the aggression throughout this. He's gonna fall away as Mystic does the same. They've taken over B, but keep your eye on towards Boaster. See if he tries to make the play happen with the sound of these steps. You know he's walking that smoke. He is 100%. Having a little wander. Timing, though. It's got to be critical. Glove. Trying to take that side control. We know that they like to go for that connector lean towards the A site. We saw it in that early round. But now they wait. Boaster doesn't find it. Turco's patience pays dividends. And now the spike gets planted. Very similar plant as well. Seems to be something that they lean towards as Toronto. Safely waits. Durka outdoes him. 45 HP. 3v3. One rifle still on Mystic. Magnum on the SMG. And Durka, there it is, forcing out the race. But Magnum on the swing. Huge work. Now the gyro goes up, but that gives a chance. But Turco denies it, rips it away. And now Mystic in the 1v2. He's got to play it to the right. Turco to the left. Isolates one. Spins. Gets it done! Mystic out of nowhere does it on a dime, and FNATIC make it to 13.
Right back into it. After that round, they weren't willing to let any more slip, and